What's up, chat?
Hearing loud, unidentifiable screams late at night. A farmer claimed to see a massive figure moving across his property. He described it as being covered in dark fur and approximately 8 feet tall. Large footprints were also discovered near a creek bed. All of this being said, do you think the footage is real? Let me know in the comments down below. The following 2 Bigfoot sightings come from Oregon. Like Virginia, the state of Oregon has a rich Bigfoot history as well. But these sightings here were specifically highlighted on June 21st, 2024. Let's start off with this photo here, followed by a very good video of a Sasquatch. This photo comes from the McMinnville, Oregon area. It was submitted to Bigfoot investigative group Rocky Mountain Sasquatch by a man named Ben. A feature the group points out first is the length of the arms, which they say makes this one seem super authentic.
You, just you, building your
Stupid ads.
on base 44.
Next, they highlight a video coming in from the Umatilla Forest of the Blue Mountains near Harris Park, Oregon. This one, though, came from 7 months prior, so right at the end of 2023. The quick and zoomed in video shows a dark and hairy humanoid creature making its way up a steep mountain. The creature briskly walks past and suddenly stops and stands still. Then it resumes walking again. Once again, like the previous photo, the arms on this creature are exceptionally long. They stretch way out, much longer than the average human wingspan. Now, these are 2 separate sightings that come from Oregon, as I said. But it seems they share the same long arm trait. Maybe the Sasquatches of this region share similar characteristics and adaptations. Now, it's said that all Bigfoots look different and they come in different shapes and sizes. However, it would make sense that Bigfoots coming from the same region would have similar looks. Certainly some interesting evidence that brings out some new hypotheses for these creatures. Here is a close-up capture of Bigfoot's face. Now, not too much is known about this one other than that. We don't know what area it comes from or who took it, etc. But the picture is so clear and so close up that it's compelling enough on its own. Check it out.
Ha!
This has to be one of the clearest and closest pictures of a supposed Bigfoot ever. We can see every single detail on this one. It has dark, spiky hair atop its head, fading into more straggly, rough hair on its shoulders and below. We can even see its right ear poking out from within its thick hair. Its skin is pale and aged. It has the textbook facial features of a Bigfoot. The strong, prominent brow ridge, large nose, human-like eyes, and mouth. And it's not often we get to see the teeth on one of these creatures. Its teeth here almost look like molars, like human teeth. Its facial bone structure is also very defined and cut. Despite the HD evidence, skeptics still aren't satisfied. They think it could be a person in a costume or a prop or something. However, costumes usually don't look this realistic, and there's just something about it that seems very real. Its eyes seem pretty real to me, like it's looking into my soul or something, but I don't know. I'm gonna leave this one up to you, the viewers, to make a decision. Do you think this one is real and that it really is a juvenile Sasquatch close up? Or is it a hoax like skeptics are saying? Let me know.
Hi there! Would you like to receive a gift? I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of...
Now, this is the newest Bigfoot evidence. It was just posted on January 22nd, 2025. Not only this, but it's also insanely exclusive, with only about a few thousand people seeing it. This being said, take a look at the man's footage.
Hey, does anybody know what this is? I'm from Alaska. I've never seen anything like this before. To let my chickens out and stuff, and I see these big prints. This is me walking. Takes 4 steps to make one of those. Pretty interesting, I don't know.
He shows us some strange prints in the snow behind his home in Alaska. Look at how long some of the strides are. Whatever this creature was, it was sprinting, or it just has the ability to make these long of strides while walking. The length between is incredible, estimated at 7 to 8 feet at times. This leads us to believe the creature is bipedal. Taking a closer look at the prints themselves, they look human-like. They're in the same shape as a human footprint, but longer, and in some of them the toes look strange. And judging by the man's boot prints beside, these prints are much larger. Alaska, known for its vast wilderness and remote landscapes, has long been a hotspot for stories of mysterious creatures, including Bigfoot. The state's rugged terrain, dense forests, and sparse population make it an ideal setting for cryptid lore. Indigenous groups in Alaska, including the Tlingit and Athabascan peoples, have long told stories of large, hairy, humanoid creatures in their traditions. These creatures are sometimes referred to as Kushda, described as a wild man or a forest spirit, sometimes feared for its ability to lure people into the wilderness. And also the Uriuli, a giant hairy creature said to inhabit the forests of southwestern Alaska. According to legend, Uriuli were once children who got lost in the woods and transformed into these beings.
What?
These stories predate modern Bigfoot accounts and suggest deep cultural history tied to these types of creatures. This being said, was this what this man captured evidence of? One of these unknown creatures? Or could it possibly be explained? The following video is one of the craziest Bigfoot videos you'll ever see. Just highlighted recently, the video hasn't been seen by many people. The story goes like this. A young boy ventures out into the woods all alone, with nothing but a camera and a flashlight. He had always wanted to see what the woods looked like at night, despite his parents telling him not to.
But he did.
This night he would find out exactly
Till he
why his
finds
parents
out.
tried to keep him out of this forest in particular. As he ventures on, he starts to hear some rustling, like something huge pretty close to him. Then it charges.
What's that? Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Seen is an absolutely huge bipedal creature. It looks to be covered in dark hair. Slowing the footage down, we can see it looks like a mix between a human and a large ape or something. As it lunges right for him, this is when the footage cuts off. Out of sheer fear, he turned the camera off, trying to get away, causing the abrupt stop. However, it wasn't stated what happened to the boy after this video was taken. It's assumed he's alive and well though, because he was able to release his footage to the world. Which means his camera made it out at least. Maybe the boy doesn't want to speak out, fearing it could complicate his life. And not only that, but also bring up memories he doesn't want to remember. The night he was nearly killed by an unknown creature in the woods. As you may have guessed, of course, most viewers are calling this a Bigfoot. But what do you guys think? Definitely one of the scariest Bigfoot encounters ever. Here is the infamous Ray Wallace footage. Now this footage comes from long ago, but I'm sure many of you haven't seen it, so I figured I'd bring it to your attention. Also, I've seen this clip gaining some traction over the last couple years, so here it is. scene is a bipedal ape-like creature wandering around in a field. It seems completely unaware of the filmer's presence. It's dark in color and has a wide build, similar to other Sasquatch sightings. However, we can't exactly estimate its height because it's hunched over the whole time. And the video is kind of blurry. But the reason the footage is so compelling is because of who Ray Wallace was. Ray Wallace was a construction worker and road builder who became widely associated with Bigfoot. He was working on a logging project near Bluff Creek, California in 1958 when his crew discovered massive human-like footprints. These footprints were reported in newspapers and helped launch Bigfoot into mainstream culture. The Humboldt Times newspaper published the discovery of the footprints, sparking nationwide interest in Bigfoot. And almost 10 years later was when the most famous Bigfoot sighting ever happened, in this very spot.
I just paid for my next battle pass using PlayZone on my phone.
What up, guys? Max Plus Holly here. I'm here at Box. We're about to rip some packs. Let's go.
Now we're gonna.
The Gillian Patterson film of Bluff Creek. However, the late Ray Wallace is kind of a controversial figure in the Bigfoot world. A lot of people accused him of faking the footprints, even his own family. But many people still believe him and his stories, along with his very crazy evidence. On April 15th, 2009, at approximately 2:39 p.m. in Ontario, Canada, a woman named Jean Habert had an encounter that she would never forget. As she pulled open her blinds, her eyes locked onto a massive shadowy figure, standing roughly 50 yards away. Shocked, she called for her husband, who rushed to her side with camera in hand. The couple observed the enormous creature, which, despite clearly noticing them, remained indifferent to their presence. Taking advantage of this rare opportunity, Mr. Habert snapped 2 photographs before the entity mysteriously disappeared into the wilderness. To their astonishment, the creature re-emerged 15 minutes later, allowing them to capture one final image before it vanished completely. They estimated its towering height to be around 10 feet. While they never encountered the creature again, strange occurrences followed in the coming weeks. The couple reported that the screens on their windows had been inexplicably ripped off, yet no culprit was ever identified. Unnerved by these unsettling events, they decided to sell their cabin in 2010, feeling it was no longer a safe place to call home. As for the photographs themselves, they remain some of the more compelling images of Bigfoot. The figure appears massive, with hallmark Bigfoot traits such as a thick, muscular build, upright posture, and a body covered in dense hair. The face, partially visible, seems to bear primate-like features. Interestingly, several people who know the Haberts personally say they would never fake something like this. This lends credibility to their claim, but the mystery remains. Were these photographs genuine evidence of a Sasquatch, or is there another explanation? Let me know. This brand new video was just posted on January 10th, 2025. It comes from Utah. Take a look as a woman films some strange prints she just found.
Look at these tracks. That is crazy. It looks like Bigfoot tracks. Look at that. He's been hunting forever. He's never seen tracks like that, he said. That looks like a foot. He says it looks like big. Where does it go? Where is he coming from? I'm getting back in the truck.
She says they've never seen prints like this before, despite hunting and being out in the woods their whole lives. You can tell the woman is deeply intrigued by the prints and wants to find out more. The sheer size of the footprints is enough to tell us these aren't human. They're extremely wide, and you can even see defined toe marks on most of them. One thing skeptics point out, though, is how close together the prints are. Oftentimes, alleged Bigfoot tracks are way more spread out, with much longer strides. But these ones here are very close together for some reason. Could it be that the bipedal creature was just walking slowly and grazing around in this area? Perhaps looking for food or something? Another theory skeptics have is that this was simply someone walking around in snowshoes. Shoes that are made for walking around in the snow that are oftentimes rather large. But why would they be on their property? Was someone trespassing, or was Bigfoot trespassing? It looks like we'll never know for sure, and our questions will remain unanswered. Now today we've looked at Bigfoot videos, photos, and footprints, so what else are we missing? How about some audio evidence? A man walks outside late one night. He has a remote forested property in Alabama, away from all civilization. So he's startled as he listens to these strange, otherworldly screams bellowing through the forest. They almost sound like unintelligible human screams, but something seems off. And no one would be out in these woods, especially this late at night. The screams are high-pitched and then low-pitched at times. The vocal range tells us there's no way it's a human. So could it somehow be some kind of animal? If so, what kind of animal could produce such a sound? Not surprisingly, because of the eerie nature that surrounds the clip, people began diving into the supernatural realm for answers. Particularly cryptids.
In this video, I'm going to be making a 3D game in just 1 hour, but all the 3D assets in the game will be created.
Because of Alabama's rich Bigfoot history, this is the theory that most agreed with. Bigfoot sightings in Alabama have a long, fascinating history, with reports stretching back for generations. The state's dense forests, swamps, and remote wilderness areas provide an ideal setting for alleged Sasquatch encounters. And many locals believe that something mysterious is lurking in the woods. In the mid-20th century, stories of a wild man or booger, a term often used in the South to describe mysterious or frightening creatures, began to surface more frequently. Rural communities in central and northern Alabama, especially around the Talladega National Forest and Bankhead National Forest, became hotspots for alleged sightings. During the 1970s and 1980s, reports of a large, hairy creature appearing near homes, campsites, and hunting cabins gained attention. Witnesses described a tall, broad-shouldered figure with glowing eyes and a terrible odor. Some even claimed to have heard eerie howls at night, sounds that didn't match known animals in the region. Sounds kind of familiar, right? Unknown howls and screams bellowing throughout the night. Whatever it is, it's clear something strange is going on in the region of Alabama, and more proof is surfacing.
Alright, Chad, that's gonna be it for tonight. Sorry it was a short stream. I'll be live tomorrow. Hope you have a blessed night. God bless.